What up, football fans all over the world? It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan, here with my guy, the super dope co-host, I'm Costas. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for that real deal NFC East round up. Push that intro. What up? Good afternoon, everybody. It is your boy, Mac the Giants fan, man. Let's welcome y'all to another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup, man. How you feeling today, Adam?
I am feeling okay, not great. Life feel good. Football team, they're terrible.
They are absolutely terrible. I mean, what we saw on Sunday was just a reminder of what we've been seeing the last couple of years up in this joint, man. And it was bad. I didn't want to get back. I was hoping we were going to avoid that at least for the rest of the season, man. I didn't want to see that type of effort we saw this past Sunday, but we'll get into that a lot more later on, man. What's going on, AK? Appreciate you popping in, man. Daniel Barry, as always, man. Appreciate you popping in the too, man. Appreciate you, brother. Happy Wednesday to you too, man. But let's get right into it, man. Let's go to Monday night. Monday Night Mayhem, man. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the Cardinals, man, on Monday night, and it was not good. Not good. Not a good night for the Dallas Cowboys. Surprising, especially coming off that defeat the prior week for the Cowboys, man. I thought they were really going to be fired up and amped up and ready for this one, and thought they were going to go out there and actually just literally, tear the Cardinals apart. But, I mean, the Cardinals led by a backup quarterback, Jacoby Brissett. It's not, it just wasn't – it just seemed crazy to me that the Cowboys went out there and laid the egg the way they did on prime time. At home, no less, too. I believe this game was in Dallas.
Yes, it was.
And it was terrible. What's your thoughts on the game, Adam?
Well, it was a game where I picked the Cowboys to win, but God forbid I give them some prosperity.
Go over there and play, and don't be over here.
God forbid I give the Cowboys.
I told you I'm doing this. Give me this peace of mind to do this. Go play your video game or something. Go upstairs.
God forbid I give the Cowboys a little prosperity, okay, and pick them. But this Cardinal team was a desperate Cardinal team. They played pretty well. They came out and they set the tone with their defense. I think what really set the tone was that fourth down in the goal line. I don't know if you're speaking, Mac, but that fourth down at the goal line, when they had that goal line stand and the Cowboys couldn't put it in, that set the tone because they went right back down the field. And obviously the Cowboys can't stop a nosebleed on defense right now. And it showed out. They had a competent quarterback. Their pass rush was getting to Brissett. He was just making the quick decisions, getting the ball out. And when you don't stop anybody on defense, that's what happened. And I think Schottenheimer did that on purpose because he knew his defense couldn't do it, but he didn't think he wasn't going to score, right? And I think the Cowboys offense, if they don't have a track meet and score on every drive, let's say they have a hiccup or they have some type of, drop pass, whatever. George Pickens drops a pass, CD Lamb, something like that, and they stall out, and their defense is not going to stop anybody. So when their offense struggles and they can't get stops, this is what they look like. And they led a team in Arizona who has played some close games, has been in most of their games, losing by 1 point here, that crazy catastrophe with Tennessee, right? They kind of saved their season. And now you're hearing that they're going to keep Jacoby Brissett as the starter. Maybe he'll help them, kind of get back on track. And a game like this can do that for you. Remember, the Cardinals, no matter how we want to look at it, this is a big game for them. They're on national TV. When are the Cardinals ever on national TV, right? Hardly ever.
Very rarely.
Right. In the history of watching football, we're not like, hey, I'm going to go watch that Cardinals game. Who's coming with me? No, nobody's doing that. But this year on the main stage with a Dallas Cowboy game, everybody watching, Stephen A. Smith in the booth, he's watching, right? They're out there, and you come out and you make mistakes, you get turnovers, and your defense can't stop anybody, and that's the result you get. You get a huge loss by the Cowboys, who I thought if they had a chance to win this game, they play the Raiders next, right? They're on a bye, but then they play the Raiders next after that bye. So you'd have some time to really, go into the bye with a winning record, one game off of 500 with a team coming in the Raiders with 2 weeks off. And of course, with the trade deadline and everything they've just done, to have a real push. Now you're hanging on by a thread, to keep your playoff hopes alive. And it just, to me, seems like the Cowboys need to fix this during the offseason, fix all their little problems, get back on track, make their offense absolutely a machine, because if they can score points, that's going to put pressure on the other team, and they'll help your defense out. However, if you can't score and you're giving the ball back, this is where a team that has no defense really struggles, because then they can't get off the field and they get tired out because they're going long, methodical drives, and that's what Arizona did. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, this Cowboys is, once again, it's the defense, but all about the defense with this Cowboys team. The offense, whereas it wasn't as bad as it was a week ago, it was still wasn't necessarily great. They weren't performing at their highest level, at their best level,
Right.
And the defense once again let them down. You let Jacoby Brissett just carve you up. That's saying something. I mean, I'm sorry. Jacoby Brissett is an absolute. He's a decent, good backup quarterback, one of the better backup quarterbacks around this league that you can have, one of the more reliable guys. But at the end of the day, he is a backup quarterback, and let him come into your home and just tear you up that in such a way is absolutely crazy to me. You just can't allow that to happen. And then, and the offense, just not having a great night as well. I mean, that he wasn't terrible, but he wasn't great either. Still wasn't also. He also wasn't necessarily great. And
but see,
a lot of his yards he got. A lot of the things he did was kind of mostly when the Cardinals put on the gas for the most part. To be honest, I mean, they had 4 fumbles. They only lost 2 of them, but putting the ball on the ground, sloppy play. It's just this Cowboys team has to, they got to figure out a way to put it together. And maybe with some of the moves they made yesterday, it'll have an impact on their defense a little bit. But that only time will tell. That hopefully that works out for them.
Well, they have 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, but offensively, this team has to be cooking all the time offensively right now, because this defense clearly is just not capable of stopping anybody.
And that's what I want to touch on right there, where you were saying about the offense not being perfect. This defense cannot have the offense not be perfect, right? Because they're not good enough. They're not even middle of the road where they are going to get a stop and get the ball right back to you. They're not creating a lot of turnovers to get the ball right back to their offense, where they're complementing each other right now, right? All the games the Cowboys have scored like 40 plus or 35 plus points and they've won or tied is because their offense was cooking. Their offense was a track meet. The games that they struggle in are the games where they clunk around and don't score, or against the Bears where you have some turnovers and things like that. When they are clunky on offense and they make mistakes, even if they put up 20-something points, which probably win you a game, 27 points, the other team puts up 35 because they can't stop them and they get more possessions, right? Because the Cowboys will turn the ball over or some type of shit. And that mentality for them is really why they are where they are. Because of their defense, it's very similar to what the New York has got going on as well. And we'll get to them in a minute. But, you look at these, I would expect more out of the Cowboy offense than I would out of the, New York offense, because the Cowboy offense has a ton of stars on it, right? The Pickens to CeeDee Lamb, Ferguson, the O-line, Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams. I don't expect them to have such not horrible performances, but struggle like they have in some games. And that's the one thing. If I'm Schottenheimer going to this season, this bye week, regardless of fixing the defense, you're going to get help there with Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson coming in. That's going to help you out. They got Chevelle Ravel coming back as a corner. That'll help some of that. Get those players kind of acclimated. The defense is going to need to make their adjustments where they need to make it. What you need to do as Brian Schottenheimer is go, all right, Eberflus, you get the defense. I've got to make this offense spectacular. I've got to make it so that every game that we play, the offense is scoring 30 points. So my defense, I can help out the weakness of my team. Because if they don't do that, there's going to be a lot of disappointing games for them where you're like, man, they probably could have won this game. Like against the Raiders. Raiders aren't bad. They're a horrible team, but like they're an NFL team. Don't sleep on the Raiders, okay? Don't sleep on them. Let Geno Smith carve you up, right? You need to take advantage of this. And if I'm Brian Schottenheimer, as much as I know the defense is a mess, they've been a mess for 8 weeks. Eberflus has got to fix that. I've now got to make this offense to the point where it's unstoppable against anybody, and that has been my goal to winning games down the stretch. Because your defense, I mean, I think their defense with these additions gets to middle of the road if the guys gel, right? But again, big if.
Yeah, it's like you said, we got to wait and see a little bit on that. What's going on, Wells, man? I appreciate you popping in. Always good to see you, my friend. Always good to see you, brother. Yeah, but it's NFC East. The whole NFC East. I mean, the whole NFC East this year. I mean, its division is back to it's back to playing some bad football, minus the Eagles, obviously. The Eagles, I mean, we still haven't really seen them unlock and completely unlock and see their best football, to be honest, yet, which is crazy. But they're already running away with the division, and it looks like it's already pretty much over with. It's like it's already a lost cause. I mean, nobody in NFC East is playing good football. The Giants are playing terrible football. The Cowboys that we just mentioned defensively they don't have it on defense to be able to keep up. And the Commanders obviously having all kinds of problems this season as well. So, I mean, the Eagles look like they are definitely on their way to repeating in this division and to be the first repeat champ since they did it back in 2004 and 5, I think it was. But yeah, this is it. It's just a mess right now. The whole division, to be honest, and the Cowboys right now, they're as messy as anybody else, man.
This is a funny comment. Ice Cube got fired on his day off. Birds locked up the division on their day off.
It's a fact. It's a fact. That's exactly. I was talking to somebody about that just a couple of hours. I said I was sitting there and a guy just came in and was to talk Eagle fan. He saw I had my Giants hat on. He started talking a little bit of shit, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, yeah, you motherfuckers. I said, y'all have a bye week and somehow gained even more momentum in the division on a bye week. I'm like, it's just. That's what the NFC East is right now, man. It's just bad, man.
I mean, it's insane to think about, right? You know, and the Cowboys made some trades, right? They're trying to cement themselves as second place in the NFC East. They're trying to, get some players in here, maybe save themselves a wild card spot, right? I don't know, but at least they'll have these guys, Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, for the next couple of years, right, to kind of build out that defense and flesh it out as they go. And some people say they got robbed. I mean, I don't think they got robbed. I think they acquired a great talent, somebody who's going to be better than the second round pick that they got, that they gave away, and somebody that's going to be better than that first round pick that they got. Quinnen Williams was the top D tackle in this league and is going to really help them exponentially. And you got him in the middle of his prime, right? But the people who got rich on their bye week were the Eagles. They got Jalen Phillips. They got Zaire Alexander. They got in Michael Carter. I mean, when I talk about the rich get richer, and I don't mean to bring up the Eagles, but since we're talking about them on their day off and we're mentioning the trades with the Cowboys, they have gotten better exponentially. And I think it's becoming an arms race. The Cowboys next year, the moves they made are probably for next year. I don't think they're going to make a wild card move. You might want to get in Quinnen Williams for the, acclamation of being on your team and keeping Eberflus around. And who knows what they're going to do with their draft picks when they get them. And in free agency, they got a couple guys on both sides of the ball. I think they need to lock up Javonte Williams. He's earned that. I think you need to lock up George Pickens. He's earned that. And I think on defense, Kenneth Murray, I think you need to lock him up. And then they need to get a safety either in free agency or the draft to try to round out this defense. But again, another NFC East team making moves at the deadline, while other teams kind of wallow in the quagmire. But the Eagles, again, Like you said, they get richer on their day off. They just constantly are overturning the roster. And I had a conversation with AK, not to go down this road, but we were talking about the Eagles. And I'm like, I envy you. And I envy your team because your GM makes moves at the deadline. Not many other GMs can look at their roster and say, you know what? I'm going to make this move, right? Even though, they don't worry about the draft capital. They just have autonomy to make it. Jerry Jones, he gets rid of Michael Parsons. Sure, may not be the greatest moves. He got a couple first-round picks, which he had parlayed into, getting Luke Wilson for his defense, and now getting Quinnen Williams, and still having three other picks to have first-round picks to move up and down the draft. They need a quarterback, or they need to get one of the top defenders or top players in the draft, right? This is what you do to try to win. And so I admire both what the Eagles have done on their bye week, and I admire what the Cowboys are doing as they get acclimated for their bye.
Absolutely, man. But I don't really have much more thoughts on the Cowboys right now. If you had anything else you want to say before we can move on to the Commanders a little bit, talk about their disappointing year.
The last thing I'll say about this is the Cowboys are going to move up the standings in the NFC on their bye week. So that's what I have to say about that. They're going to end up by default second place.
Well, let's get to it. Let's get to the Commanders, man. Sunday night football, the NFC East. Prime time this weekend, man, and it didn't look good for the division, man. They not represent the division very well. Sunday night, Seattle came over to Washington, made that long trip across the country, and it didn't faze them one bit. Sam Darnold just putting on a clinic. Sam Darnold, if I'm not mistaken, had 4 touchdown passes in the first half of this football game. If you didn't have Sam Darnold in your MVP race before this game, you're crazy if you don't have him in there now. I mean, that guy went out there and put on an MVP type of performance, man. It was phenomenal, the things he was doing, the way he carved up this Washington Commander defense, who kind of have similar problems as the Cowboys in a sense, whereas the offense, if they can't get their offense going, man, properly, it's just going to be a long night, a long day for them. What's your thoughts on this game on Sunday night?
Well, I have many thoughts because, a lot happened in this game, more so than just the beatdown. An eerie thing happened in this game, and we'll get to it. But I want to touch on Sam Darnold. If anyone thinks Daniel Jones is in the MVP conversation, then you need to put Sam Darnold in that MVP conversation too, because he has taken the Seattle team and made them bona fide Super Bowl contenders. That's right, bona fide Super Bowl contenders. He's continued the great play he had with Minnesota now into Seattle. And people may not want to hear that, and that's fine, but that's how he's playing. That's how exceptional he's playing. And a lot of people want to poo-poo things that he's done. He's been consistently good from the start of the year. And you're seeing why he was drafted high and some of the traits that are coming out. And he put on a clinic, like you said, against this banged-up Washington defense, who, again, what did we say every week about Washington? If their offense doesn't get going with Jaden Daniels, defense doesn't work, right? The defense just does not work. So when we look at it, and we see how they're limited, right? It makes you wonder, did they overvalue their season a year ago? Did they not put the right pieces in place? And this team has been banged up, and that's no excuse, obviously, in the NFL. You play who you play. You're supposed to be, when you go in with the 53-man roster, you're supposed to feel like you believe in your roster, right? So you believe in the next man up, and you don't always have the depth you need. And here you're starting to see that unfold. I don't know why Jaden Daniels was in the game with 4 minutes ago and a complete blowout. I don't understand why coaches do that. I was having a conversation with AK about it because we were talking about Jackson Dart being late in the game and different things. And I was like, well, the game is over. Clearly you should just pull him out. It was 4 minutes to go in the game, right? Same thing with Dart in the 49er game. You don't need him in there. There's 2 minutes. You have the ball with 2 minutes to go in the game. Why are these guys still in here? And guess what? That injury happens. Now, it's a freak injury. He was trying to brace himself, obviously. But again, even the coach goes, I regret it. Eerie thing is that RG3 against the same team in the same stadium in the same end zone had a similar type of injury, catastrophic injury. It's kind of eerie. I don't know why, but that is just some crazy, type of weird shit you can't get over. But end of the day, I think Dan Quinn dropped the ball here. If you knew about it, revisionist history, you could say, yeah, I should have taken him out. Well, then the move is to take him out. Okay, the move is you're down by whatever. The guy hasn't played that well. He's coming off a hamstring injury, right? What's the point of keeping him in the game against a very good, against a very good, Seattle defense that is relentless, that has been kicking your ass up and down the field. And so these are the type of things that it's not going to hurt anything. What do you put him in? Are you on the betting take? Or you need this touchdown because you're in the gambling line? Like, maybe I should investigate Dan Quinn for his thinking like that, because why are you keeping a quarterback in this late in the game when the game is salted away? And so now you have to deal with, one, hopefully this kid comes back healthy, which thankfully it says is not his throwing shoulder. So maybe he'll be able to wear some type of pad or mini elbow brace to kind of do that. But what you also do is, now you don't have this guy going forward for your next games and possible playoff push. Your season is all but over without Jaden Daniels in here. You're not the same team with Mariota. You don't have the defense to keep up when it is a track meet right out there. And let's be honest, most of the way the defense is playing, there's going to be a lot of track meets for the Washington Commanders. So, those are my thoughts on the game. I know Dan Quinn is feeling terrible about what happened, but you could have avoided it, Dan, and you need to be smart about this.
Yeah, apologize for the technical difficulties. I apologize, but
we kept it rolling though.
Yeah, this Jaden Daniels thing to me, I mean, it's been a rough year for the young man. Obviously, in year two, a lot of pressure on his shoulders coming to the season, and unfortunately, it's been a rough one. This is like the third different injury he sustained, or something like that here. I mean, I don't know. This is not by being his non-throwing arm. I mean, how this is going to keep him on the shelf, but at the end of the day, expect to miss a game or two, probably at the very least for sure.
Hey, Chris.
Minimum. And I just don't know, man. Like you said, I question everything. It's like you said, the way this game was going, he probably could have just gave him the whole entire fourth quarter off, to be quite frank. Honestly, the way this game was going, there was just no way they were getting back into this football game. You knew they had no chance to win this football game. And yet, here we are sitting here talking about another Jaden Daniels injury. And this Washington Commanders season, I think it is over. I think this team's a lost cause this season. I don't see them being able to rebound. They cannot run the football with their running backs. That's another reason I think that might have clouded Dan Quinn's judgment on Sunday night, was just the fact that Jaden Daniels was kind of the only would have kind of moved the ball with his legs. I mean, he was the only kind of consistent runner they had, truthfully, out there on Sunday night. And going back to the mature trade with Brian Robinson earlier before the season got underway, I think they are that decision is really kicking them in the ass right now, I believe. And unfortunately, they just can't seem. They're just not effective. They can't seem to get it done on the ground with their running backs at all at this point.
Brian Robinson.
That's definitely having an effect. It's definitely having an effect on this offense. I mean, Jaden Daniels is bad enough that you're already down multiple receivers. Deebo Samuel, I mean, Debo's good, but like I said, he's not the number one receiver. So when you got to rely on him as your top guy, it's just as your top number one guy. You're seeing that he's really not truly that. As far as he's a great playmaker and can do good things. I'm not knocking Deebo Samuel for the kind of player he is, but he's not just a straight up legitimate number one wide receiver. You don't have, you don't have the threat of Terry McLaurin out there, and then you lose the other kid in special team, Adam McConkey. Is that what his name is? I don't know.
McCaffrey. Luke McCaffrey.
McCaffrey's on the McCaffrey. Yeah. So it's just been tough year two for Jaden Daniels and this Washington Commander football team. What's going on, Bucko? Good to see you, brother. Hope everything's good with you as well, man.
Well, you know what's funny that you said about the offense is like Deebo Samuel, maybe he is not the guy that we think he is. maybe there's a reason the 49ers, who, by the way, are 6-3 without him and still putting up offense without him, with quarterbacks that are not named Brock Purdy or whatever, backup quarterbacks, they're still being able to function without him. So maybe the Commanders got a little fleeced here, and Kyle Shanahan understand what he was getting rid of, because when you have guys out and you pay guys money that they're paying Debo, he might not be a number one, but he is supposed to be a star player, right? You gave him star player money, and you traded for him because you thought he was going to help your offense and make it more explosive, right? And we talked about during the season, well, if this guy does this and this guy does that, they're going to be pretty explosive. Well, Debo Samuels hadn't had the impact, whether it's maybe they're not using him correctly or maybe he's just fallen off a bit. He hasn't come through the way he needed to. And I think if I'm looking at, if I'm the two organizations right now, and I'm the 49ers and I'm looking at Washington, I got the better deal, because regardless of I didn't get a player, I shipped out a player who, is not the guy that we thought he was, right? He has the shelf life the way he is. And if there was any semblance of him being a first receiver, that has gone out the window over time with injuries and his speed, right? And I think right now the Commanders need to build the offense around him. And I think the problem is their offense is built around Jaden Daniels and what he can do. And when you don't have an actual offense, they have plays, but when you rely a lot on the magic of what your quarterback does, guys like Debo don't end up working out because the creativity is not there the same way with Cliff Kingsbury. Now, I'm a little surprised by that, because I thought Cliff would have been the perfect guy for Debo, being that he had Hollywood Brown in Arizona, and they used to use end arounds and different types of slip screens with that guy. I thought he would be a bit of a factor. But I just want to touch on that because I think that's where we're missing out, because Debo is supposed to be picking up the slack and making plays, and we haven't seen the same explosion.
Well, I wanted to add with that. It could even be just being a little gun shy, in a sense. I mean, the injuries they have had at the wide receiver position this season. Maybe they're just trying to, being a little too overprotective. And Debo Samuel obviously has had his career, had a serious issue with injury. Maybe they're trying to run him a little bit less on end around and such, and stop and not use them that way, because they right now obviously need him out there on the field as a wide receiver. So I don't know if anything to do with it. I just don't think possibly, because I feel like that he's underutilized in the way that we're used to seeing him be utilized. I mean, clearly he has a skill set, he has strength, the things that he can do, and they don't seem to have much in that way. And I can't put my finger on it. I don't know. It may be like you said, because the way they just had this offense so designed around Jaden Daniels that right now just can't kind of figure it out. I don't know. But
I have a theory, and that theory is when they lost Brian Robinson, they lost their identity. Remember last year, what did they rely on? A heavy run game, and then you had Jaden Daniels chip in with the run game, and then he worked off of the play action and things like that. Well, when you get rid of Brian Robinson, and nobody believes in your run game after Austin Eckler gets done, right? It takes away an entire portion of your offense, because Jaden Daniels doesn't have the same lanes to run in, because they don't need to worry about the run game, right, as they were. And so, and that also helps with also Terry McLaurin being healthy. This is why you pay Terry McLaurin big money, because when he is not on the field, the offense is impacted by that, right? When that guy's on the field, he doesn't do anything else but make plays and elevates teammates around him. When he's off the field, him and Jaden Daniels, it's one thing to have Terry McLaurin on there. When you add Jaden Daniels to the mix, there's more magic to be had there. I think the problem is they don't, because of their lack of run game, because of their injuries to what they've done and the skill position players, their identity has shifted, and not in a good way, because of their lack of run game. And you can't say that Austin Eckler going down, they didn't plan on him having a torn Achilles. And then Brian Robinson, obviously they thought, they had enough with their backs with Eckler and Bill, that they and a few of the other guys having that stable running backs, that they would be able to overcome Brian Robinson. What you're seeing right now is maybe that decision wasn't a good one because when you have a quarterback like Jaden Daniels, you need another threat behind him to occupy a defender. The reason why the Eagles are so good with Barkley is because when they had DeAndre Swift, linebackers could cheat. They didn't need to worry about DeAndre Swift the same way they need to worry about Barkley, because Barkley, they know he gets a crease, he's gone. I can't not defend Barkley. I have to do it, which leaves Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts one-on-one. When you don't have that threat of a run game to take that extra linebacker, to give that hesitation, you lose all the effectiveness of your offense, which is built around your quarterback.
I can't disagree, man. I can't disagree at all with that statement, man. It's just nice. It's just weird. It's just the way this season, beginning before the season started, the expectation. So I thought, like, just watching the team being ready to take that step and compete with the Philadelphia Eagles and just what we're seeing in this 2025 season is just it's been nothing like what we expected. I tell you, nothing at all what we expected, man. But
that's the NFL.
But I don't know if you had any final thoughts on anything else about the Commanders. We can move on and get into the a little bit, man.
Season's over. They're going to be trying to not be fourth place, or maybe they want to be fourth place. Maybe they want to be fourth place for their fucking shitty schedule so they can look good again next year. I don't know. I don't know what their mindset is. If I'm Dan Quinn, I'm going to try to play out the string and try to get the best record possible. But their season's over.
I agree. The 3-6 right now at this point, the way the NFC is, I'm not seeing it right now. I don't see anything coming out of this division. I feel like Eagles representing this individual postseason next year. I don't see a wild card team out of this division at all. It would take the Commanders or the Cowboys to go on an absolute incredible run here, and I'm just not seeing it from either one of those football teams. And not even going to pretend to throw the Giants in that conversation. So let's talk about a little bit. Giants hosting the 49ers on Sunday, even though to most it looked like it was a 49ers home game. But I don't know if you had any thoughts on what we saw Sunday on New York.
Oh, I have.
Giants.
I have thoughts. People. You may want to turn your volume down because I'm going to turn my volume up, because this team has no heart. No heart. Now, I'm going to let you know what I was doing. I was at a family function because, again, it was a family member we haven't seen in a while. Wanted to go out there and, go to the birthday party, and I'm like, because Eli Manning and Peyton Manning, I got football on my phone. So I brought my headset, and Mac knows what I'm talking about with that song. I got on my headset, got a nice earpiece, in there, got the stream going, and I'm watching this game while I'm in a birthday party for like a 5-year-old family member, right? And I'm sitting there looking like a weirdo because I'm here pacing, watching this game. And as I watch the Giants get the ball and move downfield, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a cakewalk. They're actually going to come to play today. And I'm texting everybody. I'm like, hey, cakewalk, game over, blah, blah, blah. Well, then trots on the defense. And, I guess I forgot how bad the defense was, giving up 71 points the previous 2 games. I'm like, you know what? Mac Jones, we probably got this, right? Bing, boink, boink, down the field, touchdown. Nobody even covering Christian McCaffrey. Way to go. So I'm like, okay. So then you look up, the Giants don't do another thing with the ball. They don't get the ball. They get the ball back right back to 49ers, all the way back downfield. They score another touchdown. You're like, what in the hell is going on? Hearing Mac Jones going 12 for 12 against his defense, I'm like, what in the bloody hell is going on? This guy has a bad knee, bad shoulder. The entire 49ers team is fucking decimated, and yet they're moving the football down the fucking field. Down the field with no fucking resistance. So here we go. We go into halftime. Meanwhile, they score another point. Now they're up fucking 17-7 going into halftime. Who the fucking thunk it? You get the ball at the 25-yard line. Well, sack fumble. Thank you, Brian Burns. And you don't do shit. And then you bring in a kicker who, by the way, is now not practicing, okay? You bring in a kicker who can't make a 25-yard field goal. 25-yard field goal to change the momentum of the game. You don't do anything. I don't believe this. I'm standing here. The defense finally makes a play for you, and you don't do shit. You know what the 49ers do? They end up going right back down the field and kicking a field goal. Boom. Now it's 17-7, going into halftime. Your game is fucking over. Then they come back out, and of course, do we make adjustments? No, we don't do a damn thing. And they go right down the field, and they score again. And then at this point, you think maybe the Giants are going to do something. They get it back in. They score. It's 14-20. You're like, oh, right back down the field. They go. And what I want to know is, you want to know what I see? Tay Banks. That's the lasting image I will see for the rest of this year. Tay Banks getting ran over. No effort. You're one-on-one in the hole with a running back, and you gave no effort. And you know what? Was he reamed? Was he yelled at on the sideline? Did anybody seem to care? No. Nobody seemed to care. They just let him run. They didn't even give a shit. There was no fight in this team. Even though the only guy fighting was the fucking quarterback. Fucking playing his fucking heart out for these losers, these bums. And let's get to the offensive side of the ball, because they let him down as well. Theo Johnson, you need to go to hand school next year. Get a jug machine, start catching balls now, because you need to learn how to catch some shit. Okay? Wan'Dale Robinson, I don't want to hear you guys talk about this guy anymore. Okay? He does nothing. Nothing. If you can't get that guy wide open in space, he does shit. And the last thing, Darius Slayton. Darius friggin' Slayton. I told people at the beginning of the year, this guy was not that good. He's just a fifth-round pick who's overachieved. He should be a third receiver. No, Adam, don't worry. It's Darius Slayton. You know he's good. I said, guys, he drops balls. He's inconsistent. No, Adam, we're going to give him a chance. He's got a quarterback now. It's going to work out. I promise you. Guess what? That guy should be on the next fucking bus out of here. How can you not make a catch? I'm sorry. The quarterback basically put it in your hands. He couldn't have fucking handed you the ball better than that. And you can't come down with it because there's a defender on you and you hit the fucking ground. I don't want to hear or see that guy anymore. I'd rather see fucking Gunnar Olszewski at this point, who makes a fucking play in this game. He has one fucking pass, and guess what? He caught it for a touchdown. Maybe you should play that guy.
One catch on the season. One year.
One catch on the season, a fucking touchdown. Everybody else can't catch a damn pass. As for the coach, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you doing this to me? Why aren't you firing the defensive coordinator? Why aren't you firing people up? This team has quit on you. The Giants have quit on their coach. That game, you should have been in this game. You should have been in this game. There's no reason you shouldn't have been in this game, and you fucking quit. And the last guy I want to talk about is on defense, who's pissing me off too. Kayvon Thibodeau. Everybody's telling me about this guy. When is he going to make a game-changing play? He has 2.5 sacks. You know who has more than that? Brian fucking Burns. How is this guy getting paid $150 million actually earning it? And a guy who's drafted 5th overall has 2.5 sacks, and we're like, that's cool. He's all right. He's doing great. That's not what you do. If you take Aiden Hutchinson off the fucking Lions, their defense is terrible. You put him on, he elevates that defense. 7 sacks he has this year. He had 7 sacks last year before he broke his leg. You know how many sacks fucking Kayvon Thibodeau has the last 2 years? 6. He has 2.5 this year and 4 last year. And you are a 5th overall pick. And you tell me that this guy is good, this vaunted defense? Give me a break.
It's hard to follow all of that up. I agree with most of what you said, obviously, fully. I do agree with most of what you just said here. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was a mess. It was a disaster. This defense, and it starts with this defense first and foremost. The defense did not come to play the ball game on Sunday. Just completely impressed by a Mac Jones-led offense. And that's humiliating. Mac Jones is a backup quarterback. Once anything I said about earlier, sure, he is a quality backup quarterback, one of the better backup quarterbacks around the league, obviously. But he is a backup quarterback nonetheless. And he's a backup for a reason, because he's not that great. And yet we had him out there looking like the 49er quarterbacks ass. on Sunday. This defense absolutely just didn't show up. Brian Burns literally is the only one on the defense that showed up to play a football game on Sunday, and he can't do it by himself. That, like you just said, the Tay Banks thing, come on, man. What are we even doing with this anymore? Like, get rid of him. Somebody, like they said, he's me, and at this point looking like he's not even on time. Period. At all. That's how bad it is with him at this point. It's not even, to me, it's not even about scheme with this kid, because this, to me, even though this might not be ideal scheme for his skill set, for what he was drafted for, you still got to show something more than what he's doing, and it's all bad. It's like literally nothing. You can't take anything he does and take anything. Yeah, he almost got an interception on Sunday. That's about it. That's like the highlight of his season, is that he almost got an interception on Sunday. Almost. Like, he almost actually made a play. Unfortunately, he still didn't make that play. And just the way, like you said, truck like that, it's just embarrassing. And then, look, Lawrence went through the down thing last week, and I'm not knocking Dexter Lawrence. I know he's a great player. I still believe he's a great player, and something is just something not right there. I don't know where I can't put my hand on what's going on with Dexter Lawrence right now. Come on, man! I did all that back and forth last week with Carl Bank, everything, and you don't come. You still can't even come out for this one either and make any kind of impact plays, any kind of significance in this football game. Look. I just don't get it, and I've heard everything you said about Kayvon. Not quite on. I don't feel as strongly about that as you do with him. I feel like he still is a guy. He's still good. Like, he's not number 5 overall pick as far as he hasn't given us that production. I do agree with you there, 1,000% with you there. But I still think he's a serviceable enough player to still keep around for the right price. I'm not running him down. So, what I'm saying, I think he does do some things pretty well. I mean, he doesn't do them consistently enough, but he does make impact here and there, and sometimes they're in clutch moments. I mean, like that against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. I mean, it didn't get called. That was in play that could have had a big impact on that game when he stripped that ball out of Jalen Hurts' hand. Just unfortunately, it didn't go our way. But I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying about him, but I just think he's still a serviceable player. Not, like I said, we're not getting number 5 overall pick production out of that. Like I said, 1,000%. But I still believe that he could be still a good, solid part of this defense. Maybe if you had somebody else that we could just plug in there and he could be more of even a just rotational guy at this point. I know Ducks can see that with a number 5 overall pick. But at the end of the day, he's not a guy that I'm necessarily trying to run out of town right now. But
my point
is,
at the same, I can get that production from Azeez Ojulari, is what I'm saying. Like Azeez Ojulari, when healthy, produced the same amount of plays that fucking Kayvon Thibodeau did, and he was a second-round pick. So my level of expectation, I'm sorry that I'm so high on it, but when I look at Aiden Hutchinson and where he was drafted, I look at Kayvon Thibodeau and where he was drafted, and I look at both the players, I'm like, there's a reason why Aiden Hutchinson is getting the highest paid contract, and Kayvon Thibodeau is going to try to ask for that money, and I can't justifiably say, you know what?
No way. He can't. He can't ask for that money. He cannot ask for that money. That's what I'm saying. I want to see when we get to that stage, but there's no way they can walk into an office with Joe Shane or whoever the GM could be at the time, whatever. We don't know what's going to happen down the road, but there's no way he can justify sitting down in front of any NFL GM and asking for Hutchinson like money. There's no way. He can't justify that.
He's going to want that. I mean,
well, then he's going to not have a job. Is what my opinion is. That is, if he wants that, he's going to not have a job anywhere in the league because nobody's going to pay him that kind of money because he hasn't earned that kind of money.
I guess I'd be on your level if he wasn't picked that high in the draft, right? If he was picked in the 2nd or 3rd round, you're like, I want to keep Kayvon Thibodeau. He's solid against the run. He's got some solid pass rushing skills. Fine. I'd agree with you on everything that you're saying, but what I'm looking at it is I'm looking at a guy who understands that his payday is coming up. I'm just a guy who's going to say, look at what I've done for you. And all I'm saying is you got Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Andre Carter on this line. Abdul Carter, excuse me. You should be producing at a higher clip than just, oh, well, he almost made a great play. He almost made a great play if not for the whistle blowing at the Eagle game. Like, okay, great. That's Deonte Banks almost had an interception in the game yet last week, right? I can't rely on almost with this guy. I got to produce. And Brian Burns.
But the thing is, about you saying almost with Kayvon, the difference with those two plays are Kayvon Thibodeau actually made the play, and the referees called it wrong.
Right, but at the end of the day,
the referees fucked him over on what was a great play he made. Now, Banks, that play was the lead called, probably just almost made it and didn't. You know what I mean? That is to me, that's different. I don't compare those things because Kayvon made the play, and unfortunately the referees fucked him over on that straight up. He made the play.
All I'm saying is that even though he made that play, it just happens to be his luck that he doesn't get it, right? And then you have that. Then we talk about it as that almost play, even though it wasn't, right? And all I'm thinking about is where am I getting the Kayvon where I got the strip sack fumble against the Washington Commanders? I have not seen that Kayvon Thibodeau since his rookie year, and I'm just wondering if he's not benefiting from the bad defensive coordinator that is coordinating this defense. Because if you look at it, this defense gets run on because the two defensive ends, while they're great, they're positioned to rush the quarterback. If they don't get to the quarterback, the running back goes right underneath, or the quarterback moves right to that side where they vacated, and they get nothing but green grass ahead of them. And all I'm saying for me is I just need this guy to give me a little bit more juice. Right, you're part of this. If you want me to defense, I need him to be.
I want to see him get more consistent as well. I do agree with that. I want to see him get more consistent for sure.
Right, and I guess my frustration is when I hear people talk and go, "We can't let Thibodeau go, or we can't trade him." I'm like, why? I mean, if you look at, like I said, if you look at Aiden Hutchinson or Will Anderson or any of these big time defensive ends or outside linebackers that get paid, the defense drops off considerably when they're off the field. Our defense drops off with Brian Burns off the field. When Kayvon Thibodeau's off the field, nobody notices. Nobody knows when he's on or off the field.
No, I hear you down there. Like, I'm not. I hear you. Like I'm not like saying like, oh yeah, we can't like I'm not saying like he's untouchable. Don't get rid of. I'm saying I'm not running him out of town. I'm not running him out of town early. But it would have to be. I said we're going to go. It's got to be at the right price. I don't think as long as he's not above himself, worthy of top edge money, and maybe we got something to talk about. I mean, like I said, as far as that's just what it's going to come down to him containing himself and understanding what he put there on over the course of his career. But let me talk about the offense a little bit too, because I had some things about this offense. Yeah, Jackson Dart is him. Jackson Dart is him. You don't know. I'm telling you. And like I said, for a guy, for me, it's been a long journey with me with Jackson Dart. Like I said, because, like I said, I was not a draft pick initially back in May. But here you are now, and November, Jackson Dart is him. And those words, this kid right here, man, he's got so much heart, and he's got it up here too. He's a smart kid, man. He plays the position smart. He does things un-rookie-like when he's on the field as a command of this offense. He is taking absolute bums all around him. There is not a legitimate playmaker in the NFL on this offense around him, and yet he still gets things done. Gets done the way he does. He's still putting the points, getting the points on the board. This group of guys, you got Theo Johnson, who will make the most phenomenal play you could ever want to see. Like a great play he made on that opening drive, just catching the ball, keeping it staying in bounds, getting up the getting in the end zone, and then Jackson puts it right in his chest. Theo Johnson just drops it. Like, dude, what are we doing, man? He can't throw the ball in better than Darius Slayton. No more. I can't. I no more defense for you, Darius Slayton. No more. That play pissed me off. And this sits at a game. That wasn't going to necessarily change the outcome of the game by no means. But come on, make a fucking play for your quarterback, man. Make a play for your quarterback in that situation. Like you said, absolute best you can say it. He couldn't have done anything better more than just handing the ball off to you and putting it right in your stick. You got to hang on to secure that catch for your quarterback in the zone. And you got to make those plays, man. The good, not even the great receivers, though, just the good ones make that 9 times out of 10. There's, man, many of those situations with you where you're just not making that play. And I don't find it. I can't figure it out. That was a perfectly thrown football. Perfectly thrown football. Like you said, Gunner comes in. I don't even know how many snaps of offense he's all season, but we know damn well that was his first catch of the year, and it was a great catch. Back shoulder, boom, makes the play for his quarterback. And he was doing that all preseason. That's why I'm surprised he hasn't been a little bit bigger part of the offense, especially with all injuries that happened on this with this football team. To be honest, he had a pretty good preseason on the offense side of the football. So maybe we'll see a little more running on offense. I don't know. They got seem to have switched Jalen Hyatt to a new role in the kick return. He actually had a couple of decent returns. I don't care about Jalen Hyatt at this point. I'm so for this kid. Look, the offensive line, it was,
his job.
It's had ups and downs. I mean, Bo, people were criticizing Marcus Bo. Yeah, probably out of what we've seen from him, that was probably the worst we've seen of him this season, or what we got on Sunday. And it still wasn't necessarily terrible. It just, he had some moments. He had some rough moments throughout the game. However, if I had to, be honest, he had some rough moments. He got beat a couple of times around the edge. He had one bad false start penalty that came at a really bad time. Also, and but still, this young man, I think him and Andrew Thomas, we have brewing there with him and Andrew Thomas for the future of this offensive line, man. They could be some serious anchors out there. But Jackson Dart, man, this guy is, you talking about making lemons and making some lemonade. He is doing, because these dudes are absolute lemons. Like you said, I'm done defending Darius Slayton. Wan'Dale Robinson, man, look, it is what it is. I don't think you're a horrible player, but it's just not, you're not dynamic enough when it's just you. When you're the best we got. You can't be the best we got. You know what I mean? Like you're not positioned for that. You're not built for that kind of role. Be that guy, you know what I mean, on any team. I think you're just the kind of guy that I think a good coach kind of use you properly and get some kind of production out of you, solid production. But right now, you're kind of thrusting it in. Maybe it's not totally your fault. You're thrusting in a role right now that you're just not built for it. He's not built for it. And it's just been bad. I mean, Evan Neal's thing. Yesterday, apparently, the rumors coming out that the stories coming out that that's what we're dangling out yesterday, trying to off Evan Neal. Yeah, Evan Neal has nothing on film this season. Nothing to make a team say, let's go get Neal from the Giants. What the hell thought that was really going to do? He had nothing on for this entire season. Oh, we're going to just try to trade this guy that has filmed his whole career and has not played a down this entire season. Oh, yeah, guys, you want him around the league, guys? Yeah, guys, Evan Neal, you guys want Evan Neal on your offensive line? Yeah, we know offensive line is only average at best, and he can't get on. He can't even get playing time on our line, but. You guys want him? We're trying to try and see what you guys want to give us for him. You're not getting shit for Evan Neal. Okay? That was the best you was going to do yesterday. Then it just shows the incompetence of everything from the top on down, man. Like this is like the only job you can have where you can just not be bad at your job, and it's okay. You can just go ahead and be horrible at your job, and you'll still be able to be employed by the New York Giants. Because that's what's going on right now. Players, coaches, I mean, everything. It's a mess. How can this organization be this shitty? I had some old heads talking, man. Yesterday I was talking to them, and they were like talking about the 70s New York Giants, and they were talking about legitimately like, yeah, this might be worse than the 70s. And I don't know because I wasn't there for the 70s, you know what I mean? But heard the horror stories of the 70s. And people are like, some older guys, about, yeah, this might actually be worse than that. And I just don't know, man. Because what I saw Sunday, if that's going to be what we get the rest of this season, then we deserve much better. That's all I got to say about that. We deserve much better as fans.
Well,
what's going on, Bookends?
To be honest with you, I thought about something, and you said like, "Oh, well, what did the Giants do?" Well, we were talking about the Eagles and what they do. Howie Roseman goes out and he makes plays, and they go and be aggressive. What do? We can't even trade or cut Evan Neal because, from what Jordan Renan said, the optics. We're worried about the optics of what it would be to cut Neal, or the optics of what it would be to bench or, trade Jalen Hyatt. Optics, like that's what. How about winning? How about that be the optic? Because right now, I don't care about optics. I care about winning. I don't want to be a team that sits back and we can't trade a player because the GM doesn't have the balls to admit his mistake because he doesn't want to look bad because he's chummy with the ownership group. And that's what we have going on this team. Okay? Evan Neal should have been traded or thought about being traded long before the deadline. This is a seventh overall pick we're talking about. We're not talking about like a Josh Azudu or somebody like that. This is a seventh overall pick, a cornerstone of your franchise, and you can't even move him. And you're too embarrassed to cut him. So what do? You leave him on there and have him just collect checks, doing nothing? I mean, I would love to have Evan Neal. I would love to have his job.
The crazy part with him is the Giants into this season. If they had this was the plan was to be for Evan Neal was to not give him a uniform this whole season, just let him just hanging out on the sideline. Then, bro, why wouldn't they have traded him before the season even started, where he probably had a lot more value then than he does now? That teams are just watching you not play him, like, and just wondering, well, damn, he can't even get on the field for you guys. What are we going to do?
Right.
I don't.
That's what I mean. This is Evan Neal. It's not like Evan Neal you got and you wanted to trade. You had him. You knew about him. You had him in training camp. You knew you had the draft. You could have done so much for this because you don't want to let him go because optically it looks bad. How about the product on the field is terrible? How about that? Okay? When are we going to start talking about the product on the field and not the optics of what it looks like? Because I think that's what John Mara has become. And I understand he's sick, but he's worried too much about optics and what things will look like, him and Joe Shane. Right? Oh, well, optics. Russell Wilson's supposed to start because he would give us more appeal and everything like that, and Jackson Dart doesn't. That was clearly a move that Joe Shane didn't want to make. Brian Dable had to make that call. Now, Dable's not exonerated because he made that call, but that's the function of what's going on. Okay? You want to trade Evan Neal at the deadline. Guess what? No one's going to trade for him. They knew you're going to cut him. After you didn't do anything with him in preseason, they're just going to wait this out. That's what they're going to do. And you're paying a guy to do nothing. To do literally nothing.
He's not bringing anybody at this point this season. Like they said, they'll just wait. They'll grab him up, maybe bring him to their off-season program or whatever, pick him up, and then from there, like you said, they're not worrying about adding Evan Neal to bolster their offensive line for the rest of this season. No, I'm looking for Evan Neal for that purpose.
Are you kidding? And no one's trading for him next year. No one's trading for him next year. You know why? Because how am I going to trade for a guy that can't even crack the lineup of the fucking New York Giants? You're getting beaten out by a guy who's 34 years old and has one foot out the door in Greg Van Roten. You can't even beat out fucking John Runyon. And this offensive line can't run blocks for shit. You don't think that Evan Neal could help that out? But now you're going to tell me that in the offseason you're going to get rid of Jalen Hyatt and Evan Neal. And, oh, by the way, Jalen Hyatt only became a kick returner because of the injury to Cam Scottaboo, and they had to move Devin Singletary up. Like, what are we doing? Like, now he comes to me, oh, well, by the way, we have a job for you. Want to do it? Like, sure, that should have been that with a better coaching staff. That guy's already a kick returner. No, not this coaching staff. You know why? Because we don't have any forward thinking. Because Brian Dable's a fucking moron and he's a loser coach. There's so much coming out about this guy. I don't want him anywhere near this team anymore. And I saw a clip last week which I wasn't going to talk about unless the Giants lost the game. They lost the game, so I'm going to talk about it. He was there seen talking to Jackson Dart, all in and around Jackson Dart, as if the other 52 other players didn't exist. At that moment right there, I said, this guy is done. Because you're the coach of a football team, not the coach of Jackson Dart. You are not the coach of just the quarterback. I understand you like the quarterback, you want the quarterback, you need the quarterback to save your job. Guess what? I understand what he's doing. Optically, here we go with the optics again. Optically, he wants to show the NFL that he has some modicum of a job, right? Like, look what I did with Jackson Dart, because you know he ain't getting an offensive coordinating job. He definitely ain't getting a head coaching job. Right now, the best job he's going to get is a fucking quarterback coach. So the fact that I saw this clip and he just basically jabbing it up with Jackson Dart while the team is stretching and he's only talking to Dart makes me believe that you don't care about the rest of the team, okay? You should be – Tom Coughlin wasn't just in Eli Manning's ear. He was in the whole team. He was walking around being a general. He was walking around looking at this guy, shaking this guy's hand, doing that. He's not being fake on a Sunday, shaking their hand. We see that. Well, he didn't move from Jackson Dart from the entire clip. He was standing there. Dart moved, he moved. Dart moved, he moved. It was weird. It was a weird dynamic. And I can tell that on the field, that dynamic exists because the only guy fucking playing is the quarterback, and the rest of the team doesn't give a shit.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's a great point. Maybe that is. And you make a good point. Maybe that's right, man. Maybe that's why the other players aren't playing, because you feed off their energy. You see that dynamic. You look like all you care about is number 6 over there. You don't give a fuck about nobody else. So why do they care about you? I mean, it's
they play like it.
Like I said, if you don't understand that it's time to burn this down, I'm sorry to people that keep talking about, oh, you got to keep Jackson Dart. You got to keep Brian Dable because Jackson Dart needs him. No, stop that shit. If you watch Jackson Dart over the last month of this and then watch his play, he doesn't need Brian Dable. Brian Dable needs him. Point blank and period. It's not the other. It's not the wrong. It doesn't. Don't let that be the reason why you're paying a bad head.
Another year.
He is a bad head coach, and you can't tell me that Jackson will be perform under another coach. Oh, all of a sudden he's going to forget how to play football when another coach comes in here. All of a sudden he's not going to be able to play football. All of a sudden, no more. He might tweak some things, couple things, or whatever. His approach to a couple things, maybe a coach might try to instill that in him. But this kid has something. When you watch play, you can see the certain players. You can see when they just got that something. This kid has that it, and I'm sorry. He doesn't. There's no excuse to retain Brian Dable just because of Jackson Dart. That is crazy. Dable absolutely needs Dart, and it's not the other way around. So don't let that have no effect. On the things Jackson Dart is doing right now should have no effect on whether you keep Brian Dable on keeping Brian Dable. He has proven to be a bad head coach. He is not capable of leading this football team. It's completely lost. It's a mess. You got planes flying on top of the stadium. You got home team, you got away teams coming in here with fans making Matt look like it's their home stadium. I mean, that's just, those kind of things are embarrassing. Those are embarrassing. It's not a good look. And you gotta cut the head off, man. You gotta cut the head off right here. And I'm sorry. I don't like to be wishing for people to be fired, but you gotta go, man. You gotta go. You gotta move on. Go ruin somebody else's football team.
I have a question for you.
Like Josh, take the Josh Allen thing for a second, real quick. I'm sorry. Look at that. Okay, it was so great for Josh Allen. Well, guess Josh Allen still is. Josh Allen still fucking great.
Exactly.
Let that sink in.
Exactly. My question is, all right, the Giants have 4 games where teams are going to be fighting for the division and playoff seeding, right? Or, trying to get in. Bears, Green Bay, Detroit, and not to mention New England. 4 games before they go into their bye week. I could see easily the Giants going 0-4 in all those games because all those teams are hitting their peak. If the Giants,
Well, they're all better than us.
if the Giants end up 2-11 after these games in their bye week, do we fire the coach during the bye? Like, is it cause for that? Because you can't tell me that you're going to do anything after the bye. You have 4 games after the bye, right? You have fucking Minnesota's probably going to lose. You got Washington. Great, you beat a depleted Washington team. Woohoo! Then you have the Raiders. Ooh, you beat the Raiders. Ooh, great. Oh, great. They're a fucking shitty team. And then you're gonna have the Cowboys. You're gonna want to kick your ass in there in your building anyways to end the season on a high note. So I'm gonna say 2 losses out of the last 4. So let's say you win 2 games. Then you're gonna be what 4-13? How am I going to be able to keep Brian Dable if he can't? If you don't win any of these games, if you don't, he should be fired anyways. But if you're 2-11 and it's a bye week, how can you justifiably keep that
man? There's justification for it. Like I said, it all needs to be torn down. That's what the problem is. You can't. Like you said, they're worrying about optics and another head coach and
right.
It's not ideal. But you can't keep keeping the wrong one around either. Can't keep keeping the wrong guy around, hanging around either, man, and letting them
that's bad optics.
Just continue to ruin.
That's bad optics.
Players are not playing for him. Whatever he's selling these players, buying. Okay, they're not buying. The whole staff, it's just bad. Mike Kafka, I'm not sure how I feel about this guy either. I just think they're only looking halfway decent to because of what of Jackson Dart.
If there's anybody that'll benefit from Dart, it'll be Kafka. It'll definitely be Kafka who benefits from Dart in the next spot that he goes. Look at how well I did, as the offensive coordinator, even though we scored 24 points a game, this kid did this, he'll benefit. Dable will not. Dable is going the opposite way. And I've heard more stories where, he's just not communicating well. He doesn't breed confidence. You can't bring this guy back. I don't care what happens. Joe Shane deserves to be fired. Will they let him go? Probably not, because he's in bed with the owners and the ownership's brain trust. So I'm sure he's weaseled his way on to being stayed. But you can't have this guy be on the team next year for a microcosm. Do you realize, Salicon said this is the 3rd year in a row we're 2-7. 3rd year in a row. The only thing that's hasn't changed. AK brought up to me in 4 years. We've changed the quarterbacks, the running backs, defensive players. We've changed everything except one other part. The fucking coach. We haven't traded him. He's gotten the longest leash I've ever seen. He's lasted 3 seasons in a row. You're 2-7. 3 seasons. Most coaches don't even make it past 2 to be 2-7. You're at your 3rd one. And, we can get into it. Chicago Bears coming to town. You're going to Chicago. You think the Bears are going to lie down for you? You think the Bears are not going to come off that thrilling win and look at you and say, fuck, you're in our building. We need this game. This game is huge for them. This is the biggest game the Bears have played in probably 5 years because they can get to 6 wins and be in the fucking playoff race for the first time in a long time. They've already surpassed their win total last year, so high five to them. Now the Bears want to be serious. And I don't know how good they're going to be. I don't think they will make the playoffs. I think it's a long shot. But in their minds, it's not. In their minds, they see a 2-7 football team who doesn't give a fuck about shit. And it's their chance to embarrass us. And don't think for 1 second they're not going to embarrass us on Sunday, because I have no faith.
Hate to break it to you, but go to right for the Bears this week. The Bears could finish in first place in the NFC North. Absolutely, if things break the right way for them, they're going to need some help. But that help is possible, very, very possible. You
said first place.
Things can end up where they can end up in a place if things break the right way. We'll take an upset, a major upset from the Detroit to get upset. I think I don't see that happening. But it could happen, and in Green Bay is definitely playing a game that they can absolutely lose on Monday night. So we'll talk about both of those games, as a matter of fact.
I look at it like this for the Bears.
Right now, they're already in second place. They're tied for second place right now. Them and the Lions have the exact same record.
So let's play it out, right? this game, let's say, I don't know who the Lions are playing anyways. I don't know. Do you know who they're playing? The Lions.
They're playing Washington. Let's say we're talking about all that. They're playing Washington.
Okay, so
because
so if I'm the Bears, I'm looking at Detroit. I need to keep up with Detroit because not only am I trying to fight for this division where there's still a pulse left, right? The Packers have not shown that they are a consistent team, and even though they are number one, I do believe in that division. Anything could bounce their way, and if the Bears
all have 5 wins,
right? So. And like we said, I'm not picking them to win this week, right? But Green Bay has Washington. I don't think they're going to win this week.
No, so Green Bay has the Eagles.
Right, that's what I mean. I'm sorry. Green Bay has the Eagles. I don't think they're going to win, right? So you have a chance here if you're the Bears with a team that you should beat, right? You have a chance to really pick up some games and gain some ground, whether it's for the division or heck, the wild card, right? Because right now, there's a lot of teams in that wild card race, and if you want to separate yourself from the pack and be one of those last 7 that make it in, right? I mean, think about it. You got 3 teams in the West right now that have the same record. You have a couple teams in the South that have the same a team in Tampa Bay and the Eagles, South and the East, and then you have the NFC North, where you have at least 2 teams going to probably come out of there, maybe even 3, right? There may be, I mean, obviously there can't be 3 teams because you have the 4 division winners, and then, there's teams like Seattle, 49ers, the Rams, and all them. Yeah. They're all jumbled up in there. And now you even have the fucking Panthers in that wild card race. So this is a huge game for Chicago. And for me, I think the Chicago Bears are going to fucking put up 40 points against us this week. I think they're going to – I think the Bengals are just as bad as we are. But they have a better offensive players in terms of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. We don't have those offensive players. So I don't think we're going to score that many points. I think they're going to fucking be in their building, jazzed up, juiced up for the first time in a long time, and I think they're going to put it on us.
Well, right now, I think this is going to be a defining game for Caleb Williams and the Bears. This is a game where they got to come out and see a team like this New York Giants team they're going to face coming in their home stadium at Soldier Field, man. And they got to make a statement. I agree. They got to make a statement here because this is a team that if you want to be seriously and amongst the team in the NFC, which right now their record indicates that they are the record-wise, they're a top team in the conference. I mean, it is what it is. From a record standpoint, if you want to be considered like legitimately in that conversation with those top teams, the Green Bays, the Eagles, and the Buccaneers, and teams of that such, the Lions, teams within your own division, you got to go lay it on the New York Giants. You do. You can't lay an egg against them. And here's the thing though, is the Giants have the ultimate wild card right now with the quarterback play and Dart. Just don't know what might happen here. Is this kid is legitimately good enough that any game. It could happen in any game with the New York Giants just because of what Jackson Dart the effort he's going to give them. Am I going to New York Giants win the ball game? Absolutely not. Because what I saw defensively, I cannot do that. I cannot pick this team to win a football game anymore this season based off of what I saw this past Sunday, because I don't think anything is going to improve. Because everything is still the same, so I don't see why anything is going to improve. So I cannot pick the New York Giants to win here in this spot, but I just think with the Bears, they have to come out here and make a statement because it's a team like now that's broken down like this New York Giants team is, which is as pathetic as they are defensively and have absolutely no threat other than their quarterback and Jackson Dart. They got to come out here and figure out a way to make a statement and win this game, not only win it, but win it big. At home. And like I said, they have an opportunity. Like I said, if somehow Marcus Mariota comes out there and can fire Washington's offense and somehow get the big upset against Detroit, and Green Bay drops one to the Eagles, the Bears could come out Week 10 as the top of the NFC North Division. And I mean, they got just the Giants standing in their way. So, they got to keep their momentum going.
The last thing I'll say about that is it's bigger than just that because the Detroit Lions play us, I think, the following week, right? So if you're looking at it in a grand scheme of things, you need the wins where you can get the wins, right? And the Chicago Bears, like you said, in order for us to believe that you're going to have a fighting chance, I'm not even looking at the division. I'm just talking about wild card. Let's do baby steps first, right? If you want to be in that race, and even maybe, like it says, maybe it breaks for you, like Max says, and you're end up in first place, these are the games you need to start to win. These are the games you have to start to win. If we want to even believe in you and consider you not only a playoff team, but a division winner, okay? And being that the Detroit Lions get 2 powder puff games against Washington this week, and then next week I do believe they play the Giants, or if not, I think they play the Giants. It might be Green Bay. Either way,
it's Green. Nah, it's week after that. They played the Giants the week before, Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Okay, so then you have Green Bay.
They played Sunday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Either way, take what I said about Detroit and put it for Green Bay. Green Bay might be coming off a loss, right? And they're going to need that game as well. So this is a good chance for, like you said, the Bears need this game, and I think I don't know if they're going to come out and do it. But this would be a major step in us believing that they're. I wouldn't say contenders, but at least playoff contenders.
I agree. Let's get Washington Detroit game. Obviously, Washington will be stepping in this one without Jaden Daniels. Don't know the status of for this one as well, and McCaffrey is also going to be out for this one, and Washington with all kinds of injuries. The fact that the inability to run the football with their running backs, the defense is terrible. We think they went there in the NFC and the divisional round of the playoffs in Detroit and put one on the Lions, man. I think the Lions don't remember that. It's not different circumstances by far, but the Lions are ready for this. They circled this one, I'm sure. Counter. This is the team that ended their season last year in January, man. And I think Detroit is out for blood in this one. And what's your thoughts on this one, Noel?
I agree with you. They're coming to. They don't care that you're wounded. They're gonna pad their stats. Because remember, it was a blowout game. They lost 55 to whatever. So they're going to remember that you blew us out. I don't care that your quarterback's not there. I don't care that your defense can't stop a nosebleed. I don't care. I'm going to run up I'm Dan Campbell. I'm going to run up the motherfucking score because that's what you did to us. You ran it up, and of course you had to because you're the Detroit Lions, at that point. But things don't go forgotten. And like you said, they just like I said a couple weeks ago, the Eagles circled the Giant game again when coming to their building as revenge. This one is a year in the making. And sure, the characters have changed, but the sequel is not. Michael Myers is not going to win in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though it's a sequel, it's not going to be a repeat of what you saw last time. It's going to be the opposite. Belt to ass. I don't even think it's going to be close, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be an embarrassing loss for all parties. You thought 38 to whatever was bad or whatever that score was last week. It's going to be even worse than that. It's going to be worse than that. Go ahead.
So I see Goff coming out here having a game somewhat similar to what Sam Darnold did to this defense as well. I think he's just going to tear this defense apart, man. And I think it's going to get ugly fast. Really? I think in this one, this is at home once again in front of the home stands in Washington, but I think it's going to get ugly. It's going to get away from you. I mean, you're going to get a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs, a lot of Montgomery. A lot of Ross St. Brown, a lot of Jameson Wood. I think this is going to. It's in, yeah, but I think it's going to get away. I think this one's going to get away from the Washington Commanders really fast, and I think it's just not even a contest.
Even more reason to embarrass them in their building in front of their fans, right? Just like they did to you. So I'm just saying, like, people don't forget that. This team, you watch Hard Knocks and you see sometimes the insides and the inner workings of the teams. And when you watch, like, in season, they hold grudges. They know what week it is. They get hyped for certain things. And this week, they're going to be probably putting 55-24 up on the boards everywhere. Now, you wouldn't be surprised. There's going to be probably lowlights playing all over that stadium to say, remember this, remember this. I don't care they don't have Jaden Daniels. Remember this, because that's what you do. I remember when Tom Coughlin got the tickets from Jerry Jones and put them out there. You don't know it's going to motivate people, and they're going to be fucking motivated.
Absolutely, man. Monday night, man. Once again, NFC East in prime time. Monday night football. Eagles come out the bye week, taking on Green Bay. These two teams, both amongst the top teams in the conference. But I think I just got a little more belief in the Philadelphia Eagles at this point. The Green Bay Packers, I don't understand what they go out and lose games. They just have no business losing. I mean, I know Carolina's playing a lot better football, but that to me, you got to win ball games like that. You got to beat teams like that. And if you're the Green Bay Packers, I'm not so sure, man, how I feel about this. Out in Green Bay, Lambeau Field, it's going to be a really cold night out there in Lambeau on Monday night. But what thoughts on this game? The Eagles coming off the bye week, man.
Well, first off, our boy AK is going to be out there repping his team, going to Lambeau Field, so that'll be fun. But I think the Eagles are going to. I think the Eagles are going to put a hurt on this Green Bay team because they just got defensive player help in Jalen Phillips. They're getting Brandon Graham back. They're getting a few other people back on their defense. They've got the Michael Carter as their cornerback that they needed with Quinyon Mitchell now coming back and Cooper DeJean. They can now move Cooper DeJean to the outside with Michael Carter taking that slot position. Okay, they have 2 weeks to prepare for this team in a game that's becoming all too familiar with them. And I know that Green Bay is going to want to, maybe they were overlooking their opponent last week, the Panthers, and that's probably why they lost the game. But no excuse. Now you're coming into a team that I believe is gearing up for a playoff run and a deep playoff run with the way they're looking, right? They're not going to take their foot off the gas. I just think I told you guys that they make great adjustments. I think with 2 weeks off to prepare and these new guys coming in next week, well, probably the end of this week and now into next week, I just think they're going to be good and they're going to be ready. And I think they're going to win. And I think you saw, I was talking to AK before today we were talking, and I said, he asked me about his offensive coordinator. And I said, the one thing I like about your offensive coordinator is he's evolving as the game is going on. He's not doing the same mistakes twice. He played the Giants and he made adjustments, saw that they were running, the running wasn't working, the passing game wasn't really working, so he adjusted to the run. And I think those type of tweaks are going to continue on going forward. And now that you have 2 weeks to prepare at 6-2, I think they're just going to come out and really, embarrass the Packers. And I think the Packers are going to have to lick their wounds and come across country and play the New York Giants. So, but I think the Eagles are going to take them out first.
Yeah. It was a time this season where I thought the Packers were going to be like they were going to be the cream of the crop, man. They came out first couple weeks of the year, and they look like the best damn team in football. Man. They haven't completely fallen off the cliff. Obviously, they're sitting here at 5-2-1, but at the same time, it's just something that when I watch this team play, I'm just not getting it. I'm not completely sold now, man. They're just a team that I don't know what to really think. I mean, 1 week to the next with this football team. I mean, they did get the receiver back. What's his name?
Watson.
Nah, they drafted a few years ago. Watson. Yeah, Christian Watson. Yeah. They got Christian Watson back, and he's going to obviously make some kind of impact on his offense. Adam with Matt Golden and some of the other guys, but it's just. I don't know, man. It's something not to be able to see. And like, to me, you should be able to go out there. And I don't want, like I said, I don't want a team like the Carolina Panthers sitting there with got 5 wins on the season already, too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 5-4 Carolina Panthers. I don't want to be sitting there, but let's face it, they're not that good. They shouldn't be out there competing with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah,
and let alone winning the football game. You know what I mean? Who else did the Packers lose to? They lost to the Browns. That was the Browns. And they still had Joe Flacco. He lost to the Browns. You got to at this point, you got to try hard to lose to the Cleveland Browns. It's so it's just some disconnect with this football team, man. I feel like worst team are they playing, which almost makes me think the Giants next week against those fuckers, because I feel like when they play against bad teams, they play all the way down to that team. Man. I mean, even when you go down to the tie, I mean, that was a great game Sunday night, that Saturday night football game against the Cowboys. But look at what the Cowboys are right now, man. You couldn't go out there and handle the Cowboys? Come on. Green Bay, man. You can't take you seriously as a threat. So with that all that being said, man, I'm obviously going to go ahead with the Eagles. There's also the Eagles coming off a bye week, a healthier, a little fresher, and nobody prepares like the Eagles, man. Come off, they're ready to go. They're ready to play. They are already chomping at the bit, man, to get out of this. And the fact that they were on a bye. We were talking about this earlier, on a bye week, and somehow yet improved their standing in the division while on a bye. Like, how does that even happen? But yet here we are. So this Philadelphia Eagle team is now running away with this NFC East division, which is absolutely atrocious once again. And I just think this is the beginning, like you said, of them getting ready to start steamrolling the rest of the competition, man, and asserting themselves as the dominant force in this NFC conference, man. I mean, which is it's crowded at the top, man. A lot of teams with similar records.
But
it's crowded at the top, but I think the Eagles are about to. I think overall right now, they might. I don't know if they got the Tigers. Like they got the same record as the Buccaneers and a couple other teams. Buccaneers, Tampa Bay, Seattle, the Rams, and the Eagles all had the same record, 6-2.
So they're at least number 2 seed right now because they have the tiebreaker over the Rams, and then wherever they rank with Tampa Bay. Did they beat Tampa Bay this year?
Tampa Bay. They absolutely tore Tampa Bay up too. They sure did.
So they should be number.
Eagles are number one. Eagles are number one. They're really number one, and right now, even with the tiebreaker situation, they're number one. So let me double check that just to make sure. Yep, tiebreaker. Eagles 1, Tampa Bay 2, Seattle 3. Right now with the tiebreaker situation. So I think they're getting ready to pull away from the competition, to be honest. I don't want to see it happen. I could really have a better peace of mind that I'm not the Eagles in February Super Bowl again, but at the end of the day, I'm not a hater either, man. And this team is the best team to me in the NFC conference. And I think they're getting ready to prove that and start putting their foot on the gas for real. We haven't even seen the best of the best Eagle football thus far this season. So, like I said, let that sink in as well. That this team is number one in the conference, and we haven't even played their best football. That's actually downright scary, to be quite frank, in my opinion. And I think they're getting ready to run away with this conference, man. With the conference and everything, I think that it's Eagles than everybody else at this point. So Green Bay, I don't think Green Bay is winning at home on Monday night. But in the NFL, things happen. Green Bay does seem to play better against better competition. That's what their mantra has been this season. The better the competition, the better the better version of Green Bay you see. So maybe it's another game similar to that, but I just don't see it right now. I like them picking the Eagles right now coming off the bye.
Tough pills to swallow. Another year, another Eagle team being good. I mean, it's getting a little bit redundant in these streets. But what can you do, right? Yeah. When your team, like I said,
do something about it.
Well, it's Howie Roseman and how they run the show. They are allowed to make moves, and when you constantly win, you're using draft cap. They have 9 draft picks still, and they traded away players. How the fuck do you do that? Every year you're adding 10 plus players a year. That is insane. And being able to trade and get guys within trades, like it is insane how they manipulate the cap, how they understand the comp formula, how they understand, the free agency and how they play it. I said to AK, I said, when you have a business and you want to be your own business, but you need to start to look at other people's businesses and say, what's working for them? Let's try something different. That's what I mean, we look at the Cowboys. They're doing something different. The Commanders, they're trying something different, but right now they're injured. The only team that's not trying something different in the NFC is the Giants. They're keeping the same coach. They're doing the same shit they always do. Not making any trades at a deadline when they have nobody on the team. They don't do anything. They need to start taking a play out of these winning teams' books. One that's in their division that wins every year. Why? Because they understand when to get rid of players, what players they need. They listen to their coaches. Oh, you need a fucking corner because your slot sucks. Oh, we'll get you one. We'll get you one from the fucking Jets. Oh, you need a fucking defensive end. We'll get you one from Miami. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you need another cornerback. We'll get you one from the Ravens and Zaire Alexander. Right? We'll get Brandon Graham out of retirement because we need to have, like, these are moves, regardless of how you look at it, what winning teams do. And we're not a winning team. That's why we don't make these moves.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, pretty much. Yeah, things just ain't looking up for the New York Giants, man. Right now, I mean, other than, like I said, the only thing that makes them watchable at this point now is 6. Jackson Dart is literally the only thing that makes the New York Giants watchable. Hey, I'll give Brian Burns his props too. Brian Burns comes out there and gives everything he's got. But as far as the defense goes, it takes more than Brian Burns. He can't do it by himself, okay? Guys, he needs a little help out there. A little bit of help. Need some more. Need everybody else playing like they give a fuck. And I do hear earlier, like I said, we do need to see more disruptive plays, turnovers. Tyler, I'm so disappointed in you, young man. I'm so disappointed in you. I try my best to go to bat for you. Can't do it. And man, you are a bad football player right now. You look like a terrible football player on the field, and it's unfortunate because I thought after rookie season that there was some actual promise with you. I really believe that. And you have let me down mightily, man, young man. So just don't know what to say about this New York Giant team. But it's a mess. It's a mess. Jackson Dart, keep doing, kid. Yeah, keep doing what you're doing, kid. The only reason I'm watching Giants the rest of this season is just because of you. You are the reason. You're keeping me around, buddy. You are keeping me around. You are solely responsible for that right now.
Just slide so we can see the year. Just slide. That's all.
Yeah. Nothing. There's no other reason for me to watch this football team. The leaders not step up on this football team. Like, who are our captains? Bobby Okereke, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Russell Wilson, Darius Slayton. Is there any other? I can't even remember who else.
The biggest loser,
but the point is,
our captain.
But the point is, not you guys were voted the leaders, the captains, the guy supposed to be inspiring football. Like I said, Brian Burns, he gets it done on the field. His play is inspiring. Unfortunately, Brian Burns ain't that guy that kind of, he's not the rah-rah guy, though. That's going to fire the team up. He's just not. That's just not who he is. He lets his play do the talking. You know what I mean? So I don't know what to say. Darius Slayton, I'm getting more and more curious. What the hell the team saw you a team captain? I'm getting more and more curious in that about that. What did they see in Darius and this guy to say we want you to be one of our leaders, Darius? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand the quarterback thing. Russell Wilson, he was a star quarterback for the season, so boom, whatever. But it's still okay. I mean, somebody needs to be more vocal out there, man. Make some things happen, man. But whatever. Let's have a pity party over this New York Giants team. I'm done. Let's try to enjoy some football the rest of the day. Enjoy action while we can. Hopefully, we can get this thing right sometime eventually. But it ain't happening. It ain't right in 2025, guys, unfortunately. So that's all we got, man. Anything else before we get here?
I just feel bad for the fans who invest all this time and energy to, want to watch this team and be excited. And the only thing we have to look forward to is hope the quarterback stays healthy enough to give us and entice us. Otherwise, what is the purpose of watching, right? And, somebody said it best, if we lose to Chicago, just lose out. Just have him do well, but, just fold up the tents. Let's ride this thing out and get rid of the coaching staff at the end of it.
The funny thing is, Slayton hurt himself trying to brace. Would have been better to keep the ball in a roll. Slayton just hurts himself because he's fucking. I don't know. He's just not good.
He's an
Like I
idiot.
said, he's not reliable. He's not reliable. I mean, like I said, you couldn't throw a better ball than that play. I remember I prematurely celebrated because the pass was so goddamn perfect. It was a touchdown. You know what I mean? I prematurely celebrated, and I looked up at the screen again, and the ball was rolling around on the ground, and I'm like, "Oh, you got to be fucking kidding me, dude!" You couldn't throw a better ball than that. Like it just dropped right in the bucket. No excuse for that play. No excuse. And that third I played to Theo Johnson, man, that keeps the drive alive. He put it right in there. Dude, gotta make those plays. You can't be dropping shit like that. That's just not cool, man. It's terrible, but let's off of it. Man, thanks for tuning in for another edition of the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. Appreciate y'all in the chat as always. Bookends, no mess, no jets. Mess, no jets. Lou Vig was in the building earlier, man. I appreciate all AK guys coming through, man, hanging out while we talk this NFC East talk, man. We back next Wednesday once again, same time, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you go to my channel at MacDaGiantsFan, hit that like for the stream, man. Already. Hit that in the bell so you know I'm dropping content, man. And go on the channel and do the same thing as well, man. Hit the like for the stream and subscribe to man. Help keep our channels both growing, man. And Hardcore Sports Network as well. Great content creators, man, giving you everything in the world of sports, man. From basketball to baseball to hockey, wrestling, you name it. Hardcore Sports Network is covering it. So make sure to keep it locked with the Hardcore Sports Network as well, man. And she got one last comment. It's the Belly, best tight end on the team. I'm starting to believe that, but I don't know if the New York Giants coaches understand. I know he wasn't available on this past Sunday, but I mean, I feel like when he's been on the field this season, the production at that position is a little better. I mean, it just has been. Theo Johnson has made a nice, touchdowns. Sure, he has. No points matter, but he also put so many on the ground, man. Like I just can't watch this guy drop another football. Well, I feel like he's caught pretty much everything thrown to him. And it doesn't, for some reason, not much gets thrown to him. But when it does, he's pretty reliable. He seems to be more reliable than Theo Johnson. That's for damn sure. But that's for another day. And we're going to get up out of here, man. We'll be back next week. Another dinner, the Real Deal NFC East Roundup. I am Mac the Giants fan. This is my guy, the super dope co-host, Adam Costas. We'll see y'all next Wednesday. I'd like to thank you all for listening. If you was feeling this, please take time to subscribe and smack them likes. Feel free to drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to ring that bell so you know when I'm dropping new content. It's your boy, Mac the Giants fan. You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at Mac the Giants fan. That's MacDa Giants fan.